Now let's get into my whole Facebook ads marketing strategy. And here's the thing, a lot of people out there try to make Facebook ads sound like they're the most complex thing in the world and you got to be a genius to master them. However, that's not the case. My strategy is very simple yet effective, since I've used this exact strategy to build stores to the 7 and 6 figures with 30% profit margins. Now you can actually start your whole dropshipping store right away with Facebook ads. You don't have to do Instagram theme pages. However, Instagram theme pages can get you some sales right out of the gate, and you can get a post to go viral. You only pay like $60 for the post. So when it goes viral and you get a ton of sales from it, your return on your investment is going to be huge. And it's really cool when that does happen. However, Instagram theme page marketing can be very unpredictable and random at times, whereas Facebook ads, it's more straightforward, less moving parts. Facebook ads are predictable. You can analyze them a lot better. There's analytics everywhere. So it's kind of a more straightforward type of thing. So what I'll usually just do when I'm starting with Facebook ads is I'll get into my Facebook ads manager and create different ad sets at $10 per ad sets, testing different audiences that might be related to my product. So I want to focus more on the strategy here rather than showing you how to navigate the Facebook ad platform, since there's already videos out there talking about how to do everything, how to set things up, but I will walk you through how I set it up real quick. So when you create a brand new Facebook ad account and you don't have any ads running, it should look something like this. Now over to the left, you can see a button that says you can switch over to the old version of Ads Manager, which is basically an older design of it. However, for this course, although I don't like the new design of the Facebook ads, I feel like I should work in the new design format. There's no new functions in the new versions. The buttons are just placed in a different spot. So I'll call out when I press something. That way, even if you're using the older version, you can know what I'm pressing. So first up, if you're brand new to Facebook ads, you got to understand three things. There's your campaigns, your ad sets, and your ads. The campaign, you can basically think of as a folder. In that folder, you got your ad sets, which are basically the targeting you do. So if I want to target people who are interested in skincare, that's one ad set. If I want to target people who are interested in makeup, that's another ad set. And those two ad sets are in one campaign. So the ad sets is basically the targeting, and the ad, well, it's the actual advertisement you use, the actual video or photo you want shown to people. So we're going to begin by creating a campaign. We'll go ahead and press the create button. On the screen, it's going to ask you what your marketing objective is. You want to go ahead and press conversions. Then you can name your campaign. So we'll name this example. And below that, you can choose the campaign budget optimization option, which basically means that instead of controlling your budget for every single ad set, you just say that, okay, I want $300 per day on this campaign, and Facebook will actually distribute it however they feel best among your ad sets. I really don't recommend you use CBO to actually test your audiences. However, once you have a few ad sets that are very profitable, you can duplicate them into a CBO campaign, and it might be a little bit more profitable since Facebook can choose where to allocate your funds better. But for now, that's going to be off. I'm going to go ahead and continue here. So I'm going to walk through this here. First up, you got your objective, and you can see your conversion event over here. This Facebook ad account is not connected to a pixel, which I wouldn't launch a store without connecting it to a pixel first. But if you're, when your store is, and your Facebook account is connected to a pixel, you want to go ahead and make sure you press purchase for your conversion event. Then you want to go ahead and scroll down, ignore dynamic creative, ignore offer, get to the audience part. We won't get into custom audiences just yet. That's where you would actually put your lookalike audiences, but when you're just starting out, you don't have lookalike audiences, so we'll skip that for now. For the locations, you want to go ahead and put in all ePacket countries. Those are countries that can be shipped to from AliExpress through a service called ePacket. To find those countries, you can go ahead and Google ePacket countries, search that up, and you got a whole list here. And you can just take these countries, copy them. There we go, Command C. Go back to your ads manager and just Command V them into here, or I'll just paste them in, not using this shortcut. Paste. This will pop up. Location type, you want to select countries because we're inputting countries. And then you go ahead and press match locations. And once you do that, you actually want to scroll down all the way to the bottom and remove US Virgin Islands, because that actually, you can't actually ship there using AliExpress, and also remove the United States minor outlining islands as well. Now that we got our countries in there, you want to go ahead and select your age. I usually don't even touch the age because Facebook can decide for you once they start optimizing and see who's actually clicking on your advertisement. So I usually don't touch the age at all. However, for the gender, if you have a product that you already know that, I mean, it's a skincare product. These pimple patches, mostly women are going to buy them. I will choose woman. However, if you have a gender neutral product, then you might want to stick with all. Now for the language, this part is important. You do have to put English here and select all, just because you're targeting a ton of different countries where English is not their first language. So you want to make sure that the people in those countries who you target actually speak English so they can understand your advertisement and your website. Now we scroll down to the detailed targeting, which is the most interesting part. This is where you do all of your testing. First up, you want to click this expand button and make sure you're not expanding your audience. You want that off all the time. And so here, this is where I would go ahead and test different interests. So the first one I would test is obviously skincare, since we're selling a skincare product. Search up skincare. We got field of study, employers' interest. Go ahead and select the interests one. And there you go. Now we're going to be targeting people who are interested in skincare with this ad. Now from this point, you can actually narrow your audience, which means that you can target people who are interested in skincare and also maybe online shopping. So now we're targeting people who are interested in skincare and they're also interested in online shopping. Now I'm going to talk more about narrowing and excluding audiences later on. However, I just wanted to show you guys how to do that. For this advertisement, we're not going to go ahead and do online shopping. We'll X that off. So we're just targeting skincare. Then we're going to scroll down to the placements. You want to go ahead and press edit placements. You can actually go ahead and choose that you only target the mobile. So click off desktop. The platforms, I'll deselect audience network and messenger right away here. So those platforms are now off. Now let's get into the placement of the advertisement. I personally recommend you never do anything other than feeds or stories. So we're going to go ahead and remove the rest of these right now. Uncheck all of these boxes under stories. Okay, now that we have feeds and stories set up, you never want to have both the feed and the story in one ad set because you got to create a different advertisement for your story. I don't mean the content has to be different, just the dimension and the crop of it, since stories are full screen and feed is a 4:5 ratio. Again, I'll talk a little bit more about the placements later. I just wanted to show you guys how it's done. For this advertisement, let's go ahead and stick with the feeds. So I'll unselect the stories here. And then there's also some stuff you got to deselect from the feeds because I only want to market on the news feeds of both Facebook and Instagram. I don't want to market our marketplace or the video feeds. So there we go. The placements are all done. We can scroll down to the pricing here. And as I previously said, I like to test out $10 per ad set per day when I'm in the testing phase. I'll explain how I scale later, but for now, we're going to go ahead and stick to $10 and hit continue. Now, two very important steps here. This is where you select the Facebook page that's going to be associated with your advertisement. So when people see your advertisement on Facebook, they can click on your page and they'll go to this page. So make sure you have some content set up on there. And then also an Instagram account. As I said earlier in the course, you got to make sure you connect your Instagram account to Facebook. Since most of your traffic is actually going to be coming from Instagram, that's why it's very important to have a good looking Instagram company page and make sure that it's connected when you're creating your advertisement. Now here's where you can select what kind of video you want to use. You can go ahead and use an existing post up here, and that will actually allow you to use one of your previous Facebook or Instagram posts. The reason why you actually might want to go this route when you're advertising on the newsfeed is once your ad gets posted and shown to a bunch of people, it's going to get some social proof going. If you're sending all of this traffic to a single advertisement, eventually that advertisement, when it's going to be shown to people, is going to say that it has like 100,000 views, it's going to have 200,000 views, and it's also going to have comments. And that's really good for social proof rather than just uploading a new ad every single time through Facebook Ads Manager. It does make sense to use an existing post. So you would go ahead and select post. However, if you're doing stories, you don't have to use existing posts. You would go and create ad and just upload your story, video, or photo through here. You would then input your landing page over here, so the product page of your website, and also put shop now as your call to action. Where is it? It's shop now right here. And if you're posting to stories, you obviously don't need a description there. And if you're posting to feeds, then you got to be using an existing post. Well, I recommend you use an existing post, which will already have a description on there, so you don't have to worry about that. And there you go. You then go ahead and press confirm. So once you go ahead and publish your ad set, you're going to see that it's now under review. And that's basically Facebook just reviewing to see if your advertisement complies with the rules and whatnot. And that can take up to 24 hours. And the outcome of that will either be that it gets approved and starts getting shown to people automatically, or it gets the not approved thing and you get a little red dot there. It's going to explain why they didn't approve your advertisement and how it violated the rules. Getting your ad not approved is actually very common. It happens all the time with Facebook. However, I oftentimes will press the manual review button that they have once your ad shows that it's not approved. You can press request review, type something out to explain why you believe that it does comply, send that over to Facebook, and they'll actually oftentimes approve your ad after that. And the whole having to get your ad approved thing is why for some products, Instagram theme pages make a lot more sense, because Facebook is very strict on their policies and you just simply can't advertise certain products on their platform. However, when you go to theme pages, you can make a lot of money with those same products. I mean, they're very strict with your policies. If you have a before and after after in the same frame, they're against that. They're not going to approve your ad if they see that. You can't excessively focus on a body part, not even in like an adult way. Just let's say you're advertising a teeth whitening product. You might run into some issues with your advertisement because you're excessively focusing on a body part, your teeth. I mean, it's pretty crazy what kind of rules they have, but they're very strict, which is why theme pages might be the move for some products. But now let me actually hop back into the computer and show you guys how I go about scaling my Facebook ads. And a quick thing about your feed advertisement and your stories advertisements, what I'll actually do is I'll create one campaign for feed advertisements, and then I'll create another campaign for story advertisements only. That way you're going to be nice and organized and you won't mix the two of them up. But now let's go ahead and dive into the computer here. So here we are in a different ad account. This is one that's currently active. And as you can see here, we got the campaigns, ad sets, and ads. So when you would click on the campaign we created earlier, go in your ad sets, you would then see just one of these lines here because we only created one ad set. Now there's something called horizontal scaling and vertical scaling. Horizontal scaling is where you create new ad sets, and vertical scaling is when you just boost the budget of your ad sets. And you definitely have to do both versions of scaling because you can't just have two ad sets that are running at $200 a pop. That's going to dry up pretty quickly. So you want to have a nice foundation of all kinds of audiences that you're tested, that you want to have some profitable ones so that you can boost those and kind of slowly build up and not dry up as quickly that way. Better explanation a little later, but for now, let's go ahead and stick to showing us how you can quickly test new audiences. So again, you would only have one of these ad sets. So what you would do is actually go ahead here and click duplicate. Since we're going to be doing the same exact thing for all of these ad sets, we're only switching one thing, which is the audience. So over here, you would go ahead and press existing campaign, hit duplicate. This side tab is going to pop up, and as you can see here, this little conversion event is active on this one because the Facebook pixel is active on this ad account, and the conversion event is purchased. So that's just what I was talking about earlier. But the only thing we're going to switch on this ad set is going to be the audience here. So you would simply X out the audience that was there previously and go ahead and type in a new audience. So previously we did an ad set for skincare. Now we can do one for makeup. So go ahead and type in makeup. So they don't have an audience specifically for makeup, but you can target makeup tutorials, which is basically the same thing. Or instead you can go in and target makeup brands. So you can target Sephora, for example. There you go. You have an interest for Sephora. And then again, maybe for this one, you decide you want to narrow it down by engaged shoppers. So there you go. Hit engaged shoppers. And then you would go ahead and publish it, and you're done with a brand new ad set, and you're now testing a new audience. Now to increase your budget and scale vertically, that's an even easier process. All you got to do is go down to your ad set in the menu here and press the pencil button to the right of it. So for this ad set, I currently have a budget of $20, so you can go ahead and boost that to $50, hit publish, and your ad set would then publish to $50 per day. When you create new ad sets, they actually have to go in review. However, when you just increase the budget and that's all you do to an ad set, it doesn't go back into review and it'll automatically just start performing at a higher budget. Now let's talk about when you need to scale and how I personally scale and my whole Facebook ad scaling strategy. Let's say your ad got approved and 2 days later, you got some data on there. The most important number that Facebook will show you is the cost per purchase on your ad set. If you sell a product on your website for $13 and it costs you $5 to get from AliExpress and shipped to your customer, that means you have $8 left there to play around with. Now, given that there are Shopify fees and transaction fees on PayPal and everywhere, I'll even say you got like $6 to play around with. So now you know that if your cost per purchase is under $6, you are profitable. If it is over, you're losing money. So if your cost per purchase is $3, so you're spending $3 to gain a new customer, $3 for every person that purchases from your website, it costs you $5 to actually ship the product to your customer. So that's 5 plus 3, that's gonna be 8. And then remember, I gave about $2 for all the fees, so that brings you to $10 in expenses. Also remember, the price you sold the product for was $13, so you got $10 in expenses, $13 that you received, so you're left with $3 profit. So if your cost per purchase on that ad set is $3, after you do all of this math, you realize that you're getting about $3 profit for every product that you sell. That's not a very good profit margin, but at the end of the day, you're profitable and you're still making money. And after you waited a couple of days after creating a new ad set and you see that it's still profitable, it's going strong, that wasn't just like a one-off sale you got in the beginning, it's profitable, you want to go ahead and boost the budget, aka scale vertically, of that ad set.